Test, test, test. We're just testing. All right. So I think the first question here is, does anybody watch live streams anymore? But you know what? We're going to kind of keep on going. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm finally back to doing live streams. And I suspect it will take a while to ramp that back up. So in today's stream, what we're going to do is we are going to talk briefly just here. I'm going to say welcome to everyone who has joined the stream. And then secondly, I want to show you why this stuff is so intimidating. Because when you first see it, if you want to run some of these autonomous AI programs, then it's not easy. It's still not easy. But I do have one thing that I've done here today that will show you that you can get started really, really easy if you have an iPhone. This particular piece is for an iPhone, and I think you'll like it. And that'll take kind of the scary stuff away and let you at least play a little bit if you want to. And so we'll talk about a tool called iBabyAGI. So I'll pull that up here in just a second and show you a video. It was a little, couldn't get the mobile broadcast working or the screen share, so I'm not going to do that today. But then we're going to talk about the two leading tools in autonomous AI. They're BabyAGI and AutoGPT. And I'll actually show an example of each of those. Now, be aware that there are still some pretty strict rate limits on some of the APIs that we have to use for this, specifically GPT-4. So I will not be able to do lots and lots and lots of demos. But I hope maybe that somebody asks a question or something like that. And look, I'll even keep an eye on the chat and the questions and things in the comments for probably 24 to 48 hours after the stream. In case you come in later, that's fine too. We can go asynchronous. So again, questions are welcome in the chat. I won't see any comments until later, so don't bother with that. And then lastly, this is a one-man stream. I love doing this stuff. I haven't done a live stream forever. I'm probably almost certainly going to mess something up. So we'll wait and see what happens here. But for example, I just want to do an audio check. Don't bother with that. Okay, audio is definitely coming through. That's great news. And all right, well, with that, we're going to go. So first, I want to show you kind of why this all looks a little scary to people. And I want to say to you, I have a general message. If you're watching this and you think, gosh, I can't do that stuff, it's not for me, these are not working. If you're watching and you're thinking, I just can't do that stuff, it's not for me, the message that I have for you is really just click play. I mean, you've just got to go. You've just got to try these things. It is a little bit intimidating, but at the same time, I'm 100% sure that you'll make no progress learning how to use them if you don't try. And most of what you break is fixable. You can delete it and start again. So first and foremost, for all of the demos that I'm going to do today, you require an OpenAI API key. So I'm going to quickly show you, without showing you API keys, I'm going to try to not show you my API keys. Actually, yeah, that's not a problem. So here we go. I'm going to switch over into a different view. So this is going to be our full screen view. And what you see on the screen right now, remember how I said I would probably mess things up a little bit? We can't quite see that, can we? So here we go. Let's make it a little smaller. Hang on. Here we go. Wow, it just doesn't want to go. Here we go again. A little smaller. Sorry, this is the live streaming thing when you do it all by yourself. It's super challenging sometimes. So here we go. What we have now, I'm going to re-show that so we can see the whole thing. Here you go. All right, so there you go. There's the whole thing. And this is the OpenAI playground. And you've got to come to OpenAI. And again, what we're talking about here is openai.com. And this is their website. And you've got to sign up. And then once you sign up, you've got to make your way over to the URL platform.openai.com. And you need to get an API key. You get your API keys by going here, viewing your API keys. You can see I've got a bunch. And I'm using one of them for today's demonstrations. I will be deleting that particular API key later so that if I do accidentally reveal it, it won't be worth anything to anybody. But the point is that you do have to do this. And someone told me, and I'm sorry, I just haven't had time to validate this, that their API calls weren't working without a paid ChatGPT Plus account. I did not verify that. I've had a ChatGPT Plus account since it launched. So just do know that you might have to take a look at that, okay? And you might have to have a paid API account to do some of these demonstrations. More than likely, it's past a certain amount. So if you do a number of calls, then it's gonna stop. Maybe they give you a certain amount free. I will figure that out and maybe come back and put it in the notes. But that's really important. So you cannot do any of the stuff that I'm going to show you without passing that first. So get your OpenAI keys here, and once you have it, you'll be putting it into the systems. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about was, where do you get these things? Right now, they're not really packaged and beautiful for commercial consumption off the shelf. Download something and just install it and it works, right? That is just not the case. This stuff is way too cutting edge. And so you've got to go to GitHub. So GitHub, these are two examples of GitHub repositories for the two projects that we're going to talk about today that we'll install locally. And one is BabyAGI. And BabyAGI is a monolithic script. It's a single script that happens to be able to prompt itself. That's what all of this autonomous AGI stuff is about. And that's what I'm going to show you now. We'll come to the other one later. It's called AutoGPT. These are the two leading frameworks right now, but they're not the only ones. And oh, I just remembered something else I really want to show, and that's going to be over here. ChatGPT has released the browsing beta for everybody. And in fact, if you pay close attention, and you'll see this, I'm going to show this to you. The browsing beta for GPT-4 is very much like BabyAGI in the way that it functions behind the scene and uses a specific tool. It only uses one tool, but I want to show you that too so you get a feel for it. All right, so first we're going to go and we're going to look at this thing called BabyAGI. So BabyAGI is really cool. It is here on the Apple App Store, and you can just download it and install it on your iPhone. And it is basically an implementation of BabyAGI, which is this crazy looking GitHub repository and code and all that stuff that I've showed you here in an iPhone format. So what I was able to do, because I can't show you the screen live right now, it just wasn't working right before the thing, is I made a recording for you. So here we go. I'm going to close the App Store and I will run this. So this was a demonstration I did, and I was actually checking to see if BabyAGI could figure out a particular math problem that LLMs can't figure out by themselves. I'll just tell you ahead of time it failed, but it is really interesting to see it run, and I'll play it and I'll pause it a little bit as it goes. Again, this is an iPhone app. You can download it right from the App Store. It's currently free. As I told you, you'll have to put in your OpenAPI AI key. OpenAI API key. And so here we go. This is me choosing GP4, the model, and I've already got keys and stuff all set up. And so now what I'll do here in a second is I put the math problem in here at the top. This is like a React video. So I've got the math problem in here at the top, and this is, I'll stop. So what I've done is I've put in an objective for the AI. And now it's telling me I am embarking on a new objective, and it wants to try to do what I've told it to do, which is to solve this problem. The first thing BabyAGI, or this iBabyAGI, does is it attempts to generate a task list, and it's doing that now. So let's play that, and we can fast forward just a little bit. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Here we go. Gosh. Here we go. Working on the task, thinking. I'll always tell you that it's thinking. Thinking, come on. So I'm gonna let this play in real time because it's not fast. I'm using GPT-4. Okay, pause. I completed the task. What did it do? What task did it complete? It completed the task to make a task list that it thinks it needs to solve the problem or reach the objective that I've given it. So it's gonna start to evaluate possible combinations of 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then it's gonna identify if those combinations result in a total of 24, and then return valid combinations as a solution. Okay, sounds reasonable. And so here it goes, adding tasks to what? To a local database on the phone that it can check, and it will just keep going and going and going until it thinks that it has solved the task. So it did that, and now it's trying to identify the combinations. So let's fast forward. It says that there are 2 combinations that result in a total of 24. We're going to ignore the fact right now that these may or may not be correct, because that's not the point of this demonstration. But the fact is that it has made a guess, effectively, of 2 combinations that might equal 24. Now it's going to work on the next task. It's going to try to evaluate all the possible combinations. Now what's going on in the background here is, if you're familiar with prompting AIs like ChatGPT, which I have to believe that most of you are, then if you're watching this anyway, you probably should be, you know, we can take that same, I don't see, do I have that? I do have it. This same problem, and we can make a new chat, and we can go like this, and we can ask the AI to solve the problem. Now I can tell you right now, oh, well, it might work because I have Wolfram Alpha's plugins enabled, and plugins are now enabled for everybody on GPT 3.5 Turbo, it looks like. So it may or may not be able to do this. Let's see. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to show you, this is an example of prompting. And so when we think about what's going on here, BabyAGI has taken our original objective and it's composing a series of prompts. Those prompts, it turns into tasks. Those tasks feed back in on each other, and it recomposes the prompt, and it does this again and again and again. And that's part of what makes it autonomous, is it's able to do that without my continued input. And we'll just keep going until it thinks. We'll keep going here. You can see now it's breaking down its solutions to the problem. It's trying to explain to me why it's right. And again, we're going to ignore right now whether it is or is not right, because then eventually it says it completed the task, and it says 4 times 5 minus 2 in parentheses times 3 equals 24. And if we fast forward just a little bit, I think what I decided to do is go over to Wolfram Alpha, type that in, look back 37 times, and look, it's wrong. That's super silly. So it went through all that work and it got the wrong answer. This is very, very common, especially with math problems like this one. I gave it a problem that I was almost certain that it was going to get wrong, just to see if perhaps it could get it right, and it didn't. But that's okay. That's not what we're here to look at right now. We're here to show you how a tool like BabyAGI is incredibly accessible to anybody with an iPhone, and I'm sure there's probably an Android version of this. I have no idea. I just don't use Android from day to day. But check this out if you want to play with autonomous AI without all the preamble of the stuff that I'm going to show you next. So the next thing is, let's go back over here and let's look at the same thing. The code that is embedded in the app that's on that iPhone comes from here, and it's BabyAGI by by this gentleman, Yohei Nakajima, a VC actually, who has done some really awesome things. This project has gotten absolutely huge, so you definitely want to check it out. We're not going to do a full install today. I think that would just bore everybody to death. But I've got it installed already. But I just want you to know about this. Come here, check it out. Actually, right now, I'll put this link in the chat. Right now, BabyAGI. So if you want to go check that GitHub repository out, you can. It's right there in the chat. And what we're going to do is I'll show you what it looks like when you install it on your computer. And we'll do that by going over here. So this is the command prompt. I'm just in a directory called dev, and you can see here that in dev I have a few folders, and one of them is BabyAGI. And if we go in there, it looks like this. All of these files are the same thing that you will see here. It's the same thing. I just basically downloaded it to my machine with a command called git clone. Again, this is not going to be a Git tutorial, so we're just not going to get into that. And then that goes into a folder on your computer. You can see that just by opening it up here, if you like. And then that folder I've got opened up in a tool called Visual Studio, which is an IDE for writing code. And in that, and by the way, don't even try. This isn't the right. This is a fake. This is a fake API key, so there's no need to try to take my key. But you have to set up a basic environment, and it comes with an example here that you can use. And then you have to set up an environment so that it can run. Okay. Now, once you have all of this set up, you can go over to your command line right here, and you can run it. And you think to yourself, oh gosh, I forgot the run command. I actually literally just forgot the run command. So let's go take a look at the instructions and see what they tell us to do. Run Python BabyAGI.py. So let's do that. Python BabyAGI.py. Okay, but before I run this, So before I run this though, I want to see what my objective was because I don't remember. The objective you put in here. So I said, what do I got here? Oh, this is fun. Develop a starter plan to launch a YouTube channel about technology. Why not, right? So everybody should do that. So let's go and see what this thing has to tell us. Okay, here we go. The same thing that you just saw happening on the iBabyAGI screen, the little video I showed you, is exactly what's going on behind the scenes now. So it's going to jump around a little bit. I'm sorry about that. But you can see here that the first thing it says it has to do, and this is by default, is develop a task list. This is the task list it came up with, and it thinks this is what it needs to do to help me do what I told it to do, which is develop a starter plan to launch a YouTube channel about technology. So it's created all this. It's going to store all those tasks locally, and be able to refer back to them as it goes through its process. And so it's done that, and these are all the tasks added to the local task storage, and then it runs a prioritization exercise. And again, it's using OpenAI GPT 3.5 and 4 sometimes, depending on how you set things up to do this. And so then it decides, now that it's prioritized the tasks, what it should do next. And it thinks the most important thing at the moment is to create a long-term growth strategy for the channel, and that includes plans for increasing subscribers and monetization opportunities. And I would add watch hours, which I'm hoping live streams help with a little bit. So, because man, getting watch hours on YouTube is not easy. So, so we're just waiting right now. The system, oh, there it goes. Great. So right now, that task ran, create a long-term growth strategy. And here's the strategy that the AI created. Again, all I told it was basically help me launch a YouTube channel. And no, that's not how I launched this YouTube channel, but this didn't exist then. But you know, I could use it now to maybe hopefully improve things. So what does it think we should do? It thinks we should create consistent and high quality content. I agree with that. It thinks that we should collaborate with other YouTubers. I really want to do that. I've done collaboration work in the past on YouTube, and it's really fun. Haven't had a chance to do it yet on this channel, but I hope to. It says I should do social media promotion. Okay, yep, I'm on that. Search engine optimization, I do some work with that. In fact, I use OpenAI GPT-3 to do it. Monetization opportunities, yep, we should do that, and more. So now what it does is, now that it finished a task, it's going to look at the remaining tasks. It's going to examine how it thinks it's done. It's going to recast the task list and reprioritize it as it works through the list that it originally saved. It does take a lot of liberty sometimes, and this is why sometimes these things can get stuck in loops. People complain about this a lot with these tools, but I want to remind everyone that these tools are very new. They're not supposed to work all the way yet. They're supposed to be something that you play with, and that's exactly what I've been doing. So here's the new task list. It's going to do that. It is already finished it because I'm talking a lot, and it says to develop a starter plan to launch a YouTube channel, you need to do these things. You need to conduct market research. I want to say that's definitely true. It's telling you how to connect, how to do market research. I'm going quickly here, but if you stop and you read these things, you'll find that there are tons of good ideas in here. Why is that? Because it's not just pulling some stuff off of my machine or something like that. This thing is tapping into the large language model that was launched by OpenAI called GPT, in this case 3.5 Turbo. And that thing knows a lot about YouTube because a lot of YouTube information was used to train that LLM. And so again and again, this thing's just going to keep on running. Now, they've recently made some changes, and I do think this version has it, but I'm going to stop this because I still want a little bit of API calls left in case I've actually exhausted anything accidentally. So you can see the task list. Here's a funny thing, right? The task list just kind of keeps getting longer and longer and longer. And there's actually even a built-in thing that says never remove any tasks. That's something I've been meaning to play with because I've found that it just gets longer and longer, and sometimes it could just like never end. And that's not that useful eventually, and it can also cost quite a lot of money. If you fall asleep, I actually had that happen to me the other day. I started one of these things and I fell asleep, and I came back to about a $10 charge that I didn't really want. But the good news is on that one, it had actually created a really good outcome for something I was asking it to do. So let's go down here and see what it's doing on this next task. Okay, so we are in the middle of, we are in the middle of, next task, analyze market research data to identify the target audience preferences and interests. This will be the last one that I let BabyAGI here do today because I think this is going to be really interesting. I'm curious what it's got to say, but it's still thinking. So while it's thinking, I will show you what's actually going on in the, I can't show you that right now. What can I show you here? Oh, yeah, I'll show you the code. Why not? So this is the code over here. You've got nodes, tools, extensions, docs, classic. Oh, and this is fun. Inside classic, there's this little extra folder. And inside this folder, you see the original BabyAGI code. And this shows you exactly how this was originally written, but there's also been variants written. And these variants each do different things. And they tell you this at the top, what the differences are. And this is really fun to play with. And he's been naming them after animals. So you've got baby bee and baby cat coming in here. And what I would say is, if you really want to keep tabs, don't wait for somebody to write you an article or make a video or anything like that. Come to the repository and click right into the code base and look at these dates. You can see here what's going on. So 2 weeks ago was the last time baby cat was updated, but let's go back to the main and let's see. So if you take a look 2 weeks ago, so last week, it looks like that's when baby cat got put in. And if you were to click on that and go to it, you can see here, a lot of people don't know much about GitHub, but you can see exactly what the author of this, the creator of this GitHub repository was doing. And this is how you really keep up. So if you want to know right at the source what's going on without interpretation, then you watch GitHub repositories. All right, let's go back over and see what we've got going on here. I want to see what it came up with. Content strategy. Market research. Okay, analyze market research. What did it have to say? It says, after analyzing the market research data, it's been identified that the target audience for listeners is, we're missing, oh, I think we're cut off here. Sorry about that. Just realized. After analyzing this, YouTube channels primarily interested in top trade smartphones, laptops, and gaming. Okay, they prefer informative and engaging content that's present. Remember, all I said was a technology YouTube channel, very generic. This will be more and more dialed in the more and more detail you give the autonomous agent. So it did a good job. I think it did a pretty good job for a starter plan. And then it's come up with its next, and it wants to create a content strategy. So, and I think just since I've been talking too much, it's already run. To create a content strategy for a technology-focused channel, we need to consider the preferences and interests. Here are some ideas. These are all pretty legit. You'll find a lot of technology, generic technology YouTube channels follow these exact same formulas. All right, well, that's enough of BabyAGI right now. I'm going to stop that. I want you to see what another one looks like. Okay, so that was BabyAGI. Hope you enjoyed that. Now we're going to go back and we are going to look at AutoGPT. And again, this is the same thing. I have gone to a GitHub repository, specifically this one by Significant Gravitas, and I have downloaded this to my machine. I have done the necessary work to set up the environment properly so that it can actually run. And AutoGPT is a little more complicated. It requires more external services to be able to do more things, and it has an incredibly rich, although BabyAGI also has plugins now, AutoGPT has a lot of plugins as well, and it has become a massive part of this. And when I run it, you'll see exactly what I mean, because I have it set up I have this set up to use a number of plugins, but you'll also see errors because I haven't necessarily set all of those plugins API keys, because in some cases I actually don't want them. I'm not quite sure I trust it myself yet. So the way I recall this one works is, we just, to run it, we do run.sh. So /run.sh, and that's going to start this autonomous artificial intelligent agent up, and we get news flashes now. Gosh, I don't remember. I haven't updated this for a week or so that's fine. Let's press enter, and it's warning me that I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. I am aware of that, so I'm okay with it. And now it's asking me if I'm okay with letting all of these agents run. Now I am, but I also know that I have not necessarily given all of these agents the credentials they need to work, so they may error out if if AutoGPT tries to use them. And I'm totally fine with that. Because, for example, this last one here, AutoGPT Twitter, you can actually set this up to run, make tweets for you, and then use the Twitter API for a variety of purposes. I suppose if you were so inclined, you could let it tweet for you. I'm not quite there yet, but we're going to let, so you see here what it says, Twitter credentials are not found, because I am not letting it do that. I just don't think that's what I want to do yet. And so now we've got all the plugins enabled, not necessarily fully enabled, but they're all activated, if you like. And you can see here, it's asking me if I'd like to continue with the last settings. I'm not going to do that because I want to show you how it works. Okay. And so when you first get into this, let me see how this looks for you. You know, I'm going to raise this up because I see that I'm kind of in the way for right now. And here I can do one more thing. I'll make myself smaller and a little transparent, and that'll be a little nicer for you. Okay, and I will even make the text bigger. I don't see any questions, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So, just like BabyAGI, we have to give AutoGPT a goal, an objective. And in this case, I'm just going to do the last one that I used, and I called it the Golf Course Research GPT, and I've turned it into an assistant that specializes in researching golf courses in Pensacola, Florida. So I want AutoGPT to research golf courses and rank them from worst to first. Okay, fine. There we go. So what did I just do? I just told this thing that I want it to be a research assistant for me to help me find a golf course. Now this one's going to run a little bit slower. The reason for that is because I am letting it use GPT-4. This one's interesting. It has a feature where you tell it to have a smart AI and a fast AI. And so I've configured this one to use GPT-4 as its smart AI and GPT 3.5 Turbo as its fast AI. Now in the future, when the restrictions on the API and the costs are lifted and the costs go down, and maybe OpenAI releases GPT-4 Turbo, which I would love, because then we could actually use it in production, that'd be great. So let's take a look. This should look a little bit familiar at this point because it's not unlike what you saw with BabyAGI, but I can tell you, or BabyAGI, but I can tell you that AutoGPT and BabyAGI, they work very, very differently, and you'll get very different results. So it's worth trying them both. So again, it's come up with a series of goals. It's accepted its role as my golf course research assistant. It even gave itself a name, Golf Ranker GPT, which I did not do that. And then the goals that it's come up with, in addition to complete its goal for me, are these. And I think that's great. Conduct research, analyze and evaluate, provide detailed report. A crazy thing about this one has access to your local file system if you give it. So it can write files and it can make reports for you and things like that. And those can be used for all kinds of reasons. I've recently read a story that there's some folks that are using a tool, using this, or probably a derivative of it, to almost 100% create an email newsletter using artificial intelligence. I can see how that's totally doable. Not really off the shelf, you'd have to make some modifications. But let's keep going. So, really fun thing about this one. Once it has its goals, then it tells you, I think we should start by researching golf courses. Yeah, that sounds good. Why should we do that? It gives you a reason. I want to create accurate and unbiased ranking system. Awesome. Okay. And then it goes over its plan again with you. Then this one has a feature of self-criticism. It criticizes its own plan in an attempt to improve its execution, which is very interesting. Now it's asking, do we want to continue? Yes. Go autonomous or continuous? No, I'm not going to do it because I'm not kidding. One day I fell asleep and this thing ran for ages and I ended up tapping out my API calls and then getting a significant bill. And so we don't want to do that again today. And if we wanted to tell it to change its plan, we can do that here. We can type into the input field something we're like, no, you didn't get that right. You should only look at golf courses in one place or something like that. So what I'll do now though is I'll just say yes, because I just kind of want you to see. What it's done here is also pretty extraordinary. It has Googled. It has gone out to Google and it's looked up the world's 100 greatest golf courses from Golf Digest. All this stuff that looks like gobbledygook is the response. And now it's received that response, it's analyzing it, it's thinking about it. Remember I said there's a smart one and a fast one? It's using the fast one right now to analyze these results in the context of the goals and objectives that it has set for itself to reach the goal or objective that I set for it. Crazy, right? So that is exactly what it's doing. And it's probably doing that with the smart because its reasoning functions are much better. So let's see what happens. It says, well, here's what I think. We should analyze this information we've found and start ranking the golf courses. Why? To create an accurate and unbiased system, right? New task first in the plan, analyze the information. Criticizes itself. Let's keep going. I can't wait to see if it actually comes up with a ranking system based on the information it found from the internet for these golf courses. And you can see here, it's also now writing to a file in AutoGPT. Let me see. Come over here. While that's running, I'm gonna look that up. So just give me a moment. Where did it put it? Dev AutoGPT, GPT workspace, and it wrote a file called golfcourses.txt. Okay, I'll open that up. Okay, there's the file. You can see that it has chosen a top 10 in this case. And it wrote this file on my file system in a subdirectory of where it's running for its own use in doing research. So that's why it did that, not for me. It did it for doing research on those golf courses. And so you see here what it's done. Let's keep going. It's just confirming that it did that. It's very verbose about confirming at all times everything that it's doing, where it's succeeding, where it's failing. This is important because you don't want it like sort of secretly writing files all over your file system or reading files all over your file system. And so it's pretty good. And one of the nice things about this is that it's also developed in the open. It's developed as an open source project. So if you have any concerns at all, go audit the code. And if you don't know how to code, don't worry. Use ChatGPT to do it, or use Bard. Actually, why don't we do that while it's thinking? That would be super fun. I haven't done that yet. Why not? Bard. And let's take this GitHub repository. Analyze this GitHub repo for security issues. I haven't done this. I have no idea what it will say or if it will even do it at all. I've heard Bard is good for this. It has found some things. See, there is a vulnerability with a Python library with allow an attacker. Okay, that's no good. Repo is not a security best practice. Like this. Okay, fine. Yep. Okay, so to the developers of AutoGPT, take a look at this. Folks, take this with a grain of salt. It's a very quick thing. I just want very much to empower you to be able to do these kinds of things on your own if you want to, outside this live stream. So there you go. And that's really, really funny. Okay, I'm not too worried about any of that. So let's go back over here. We'll leave that open for now. And let's go see what it's up to. Where are we? Okay, here we go. Oh, still thinking. So you can see it has written the file, it's reasoned, it's got its list, it's criticized itself. Oh, okay, it's done. So what did it do? We should now provide a detailed report on each golf course, including the strengths, weaknesses, and notable features. To do that, etc., etc. And here's all the golf courses. Again, it looks like it has written another file called golfcoursereport.txt. I'll say yes, and I'll go see what's in that file. golf course report. Oh, I found it. Okay. Open Sublime Text. Oh, okay. Neat. Oh, this is nice. Okay, here, check this out. So it's given me a ranked list of golf courses that it thinks are really good, and it's come up with strengths and weaknesses and notable features. That's pretty neat. I didn't know any of this about Royal. I didn't even know this golf course existed. So very, very cool. The AI wrote a report for me. Now, if I was tasked with writing a report on golf courses, this is one of the ways that I could certainly get started with my research. I'll say this though, I really, really encourage everyone, if you use a tool like this, don't make the machine do it all for you. Don't necessarily believe everything that you're getting back, because these tools are really early and it's not quite there yet. You need to check the work, and in fact, you need to make the work your own by ingesting it as you would work from any research assistant. So let's see what it needs to do next. Make a file, continue updating the ranking system. Sure, let's do it. I don't know, but I probably could be getting pretty close to some API limits. Let me check something here. I have not looked for a while. New chat, GPT-4. Yeah, see this? I'm only able to do 25 messages every 3 hours with GPT-4. And we've done quite a few tests now across 3 different tools. So I anticipate hitting that wall any moment now. And while I want to show you the last thing, then we'll go back, and then we're almost done for today. But GPT-4 has the browsing beta. And I want to show you how remarkably similar this is to iBabyAGI and what it looks like when it runs. So let's have it find me the best place in San Francisco to get pho. Why not? Okay. Sounds good, right? Now again, I want you to pay attention. I am on the browsing beta. The browsing beta is kind of like BabyAGI. It has access to the internet. It doesn't have that whole thing you've heard about. Sorry about the noise in the background. Apparently right now is the exact right time to vacuum something. So find me the best place in San Francisco to get pho. Pho. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. And so what we should see is it says browsing. Come on. You can do it. There we go, browsing the web. Now let's open this up. This is super cool. Let me make that bigger. Check that out. All right. Here we go. So what this thing is doing is so cool. So I've just asked it to find me the best place in San Francisco to pho, and it is browsing the internet, and it's does this look familiar to you? Thinking. Now it's thinking about what it has found as it has received results back from the internet. That's exactly. Now you see that we can direct it. I didn't actually do that. But what it's doing now is it has using what's called a headless web browser to go to various websites, download information, include that in its next prompt, analyze all that, and then compile those reports for us. And that's literally, it's browsing the internet, exactly like what you're seeing happen. Sorry, where did you go? I searched for the best pho, clicked on SF Eater, read the content, finished browsing, and it came up with, so far, 2 recommendations, and it's still running. So now I have shown you four autonomous tools for using AI. We've talked about BabyAGI, iBabyAGI, AutoGPT, and the industry-leading OpenAI GPT-4 with browsing features. Every single one of these things is available to you. I'm not showing you because I have some special access, and that's really cool. So, nice. I'll be saving this and hopefully going to SF and getting a good dish up at some point. Back over to AutoGPT. Oh gosh, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. It's downloading loads and loads of data. I don't know exactly what's downloading, but it's doing that again with a headless web browser, same as you would do if you were clicking and browsing and downloading. The AI is doing that. It's downloaded 8 of 8 chunks. It's put them in memory. What it calls memory is effectively a local file storage, and then it's going to use that local file storage again to compose a prompt that it will send up to OpenAI to have it summarize it or compile it or concatenate it. And it's returned now, the system has returned from the data that it's analyzed and done whatever it did with the top 10 golf courses in the world mostly according to Golf Digest. And it's thinking, well, let's see what it gives us for the last round of answers. And then I think we'll be about done with that one for today. So I'm going to go and check the chat really quick. Do me a favor, if you've enjoyed this stream, leave me a comment, leave me something in the chat, in the comments. If you did not enjoy this stream, tell me the same. I really would like to know what would be better or easier. This is live. I didn't pre-script anything. I had no idea what was going to happen, and I just kind of laying it from the hip. But that's okay, because this is exactly what I would do myself to learn it in private. I'm just doing it live here on YouTube so other people can see it. And so it says here, thoughts, we should update the ranking system to include the information we got from Golf Digest. I agree with that. I'm just kind of curious now. I don't play much golf anymore, but I would really like to see what it does. And you just keep going and going and going as long as you want with these things. And really one of two things will happen. Assuming you don't hit your API limits, one of two things will happen. It'll get stuck in a loop. This happens all the time, and the only way to get out of that loop is with direct user input. You can say, hey, you're stuck in a loop, stop doing that, and it'll come out of the loop and start running again. The second thing is that it will actually, what can I say? It'll give you enough, but it won't quite realize that it has given you enough. And it'll just keep trying to go and go and go. And that's where you need to step in and say, hey, we've had enough. And so what I'll say is, show me the final report. I have no idea if this will work. Let's give it a go. Human feedback. This will be a good way to end the stream if it actually does something. It's either going to fail or it's not going to fail. I have no idea. But human feedback. Show me the final report. Let's see what happens. In summary, if you haven't been on the whole stream or if you haven't watched the whole thing, we've talked about iBabyAGI today. You can download that from the Apple App Store for an iPhone. We have talked about the two leading projects here. Let's see. Sorry, here we go. Apple. We have talked about the two leading projects on the internet for autonomous AI, BabyAGI and AutoGPT. And these are the GitHub repositories for them. I have put them in the chat, so you can go check that out if you need to. And we have done a demonstration of the new browsing feature, which is in itself a narrow-focused autonomous AI. And we even used Bard to go through and check the security of one of the GitHub repositories that we've been playing with today, Significant Gravitas's AutoGPT, which is phenomenal, by the way. I love this project. I love them both, but I just think this one has enormous potential as currently created. Okay, so last call over here on what this AI is up to. Let's see. Let's go here and here. All right, what do we get? Golf course report. It did it. It wrote me a report. Let's go see what's in it. All right, hang on. I gotta find that. Golf course report. Okay. Golf course report. All right, so we have the top 10 golf courses according to AutoGPT. We have their strengths. Each course has, the top course has stunning views. It's challenging. They have excellent customer service. Unfortunately, it's expensive. It's difficult to book tee times, but it did host the Irish Open in 2015. And you can see it has done this over and over. And sort of the last thing I would probably do, just for grins, if I got this report, is I'd go over here. I would go over here. Where are you? What's this? I would go here and I would put that in and I would say reformat this as a nice looking table. Show me the table and show me the markdown code. Let's let the AI do some of the work for us so we can get this into our PowerPoint presentation. This is a nice way to end. Today, we used an autonomous AI to research golf courses and then produce a nice summary of the top 10 golf courses in the world for our ultra high net worth client. I'm sure that's going to play a lot of golf. And then we've taken the output of that, which was output as a text file, onto my file system, and we've input it into ChatGPT to reformat it and make it pretty so that we could put it on a Google Doc or a PowerPoint or a Keynote report, which actually works really, really well. I have done that before. Actually, I don't know if I've done Keynote. Let's see what happens. I see, once I get started playing with this stuff, I can't stop. I just really want to keep exploring and learning more things. So here we go. We're almost done. What did I do this with? GPT? Oh, I should have just used GPT 3.5 Turbo for this. It would have been a lot faster with the same result. And here it's giving me, it's doing exactly what I asked it. It's giving me, well, we don't need that. I want to kill that. So it didn't exactly get what I wanted. It was going to give me the table twice when I asked it for the markdown code, but that's okay. Let's say I want to go finish my report. And there we are. How cool is that? All right, so. All right, and okay. Best golf courses in the world by AutoGPT. How cool is that? All right, so here you go. We'll go here, presentation. I mean, that's super cool. I don't care how you say it. That's really cool. You can put anything you want in there for the goals. The more succinct and simple and straightforward and single tasked the goal is, the better results you're going to have. But the reality is that I use this all the time. I use it to do company research for sales calls. I use it to do research for my own personal entertainment. Like I want to go somewhere and have dinner or something like that. I mean, there's just so many reasons that you might want to use this, and then compare. Then you can even have it, tell it to look up reviews on Google or OpenTable, and it will bring all that data in. You can produce a table like this for yourself, and then that age-old, where do you want to eat, right? AutoGPT can be the arbiter and get you through it. I think that's a wrap today. We're at 51 minutes for this stream. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, please, in the comments what you think. You know, if there's some piece of this you want more about, that'd be really helpful, because I would probably make an actual video, a pre-made scripted video for something like that. So maybe this is a way for us to explore together as a community some of these cutting edge technologies and learn with each other and create content that would really help people. So that's all I want to do, is help people, empower people with technology. And this one has empowered me. So I hope now that you've seen what's possible, you can find a way to use it to empower you.